You know, it seems that two options play out on almost every matter of significant consequence. Trump either knows about something that's going on in his administration and his take is awful, or something comes up and his response is very concerning, given that he seems to be not understanding a lot of what's going on in his administration. So he either knows about it and is not good, or he doesn't and it's also not good because seemingly he's not as in the know as he claims to be. So these first two clips, again, from one of the many press conferences that he's done recently, he gets asked, again, two different questions that I want to play for you. And I think quickly you'll see exposed what I'm talking about, which is just confusion. You can even see his face, just confusion about what it is that's being talked about. The first question is on the subject of them accidentally firing people, as we reviewed, who are a part of the group that oversees our nuclear stockpile, and then going, let's see, we're going to hire him back. Please don't report on that.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Mr. President, there was a big wave of probationary federal workers who were fired over the weekend. Some of these workers focused on nuclear weapon security were immediately rehired. Do you have any concerns about how these terminations have
No, not at all. I think we have to just do what we have to do. It's, it's amazing what's been.
I don't know if accidentally firing the overseers of our nuclear stockpile is a case where the phrase "we have to do what we have to do" is something that will make us feel assured.
Found right now, it's amazing. If we feel that in some cases they'll fire people and then they'll put some people back, not all of them, because a lot of people were let go. Don't forget, I got elected on the basis of making our government stronger and smaller, because we have millions of people that obviously they're paying millions of people that shouldn't be paid.
Yeah, and you've yet to demonstrate that. And you've been talking about it for quite some time. While I tee up this next clip, which I think is the most relevant to my earlier point, please make sure you are subscribed if you'd like to. And here's the next one, him getting asked about conflicts of interest. And he just admits, I haven't. Lately, he's been saying, I guess you should know this context before. Lately, he's been saying, no, don't worry about Elon being transparent and being public about conflicts of interest and how his companies could be impacted by the things that he's doing and which agencies, right? Don't worry about that. I'll make sure he doesn't do anything corrupt, okay? And because he's not being, the same rules aren't being applied to him as other administration officials, because he's just kind of plopped in there and he's doing whatever he wants. It's a fair question of how will we know that he's not acting corruptly in his own interest? And Trump's response has been, well, I'll make sure. Don't worry. But then he admits, I have no clue what you're talking about.
Mr. President, given your concerns about corruption, you said that if there were any conflicts of interest with Elon Musk, you wouldn't let him anywhere near it.
That's right.
DOGE and SpaceX employees are now working directly at the Federal Aviation Administration and the Defense Department, agencies that have billions of dollars in contracts with Musk's companies or that directly regulate his companies. How is that not a conflict of interest?
Well, I mean, I'm just hearing about it, and if there is, and he told me before I told him, but obviously I will not let there be any conflict of interest. He's done an amazing job. They've revealed, in fact, he's going to be on tonight, a big show called Sean Hannity at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll be looking at some clips from that.
And he's on and I'm on, and we talk about a lot of different things. And any conflicts, I told Elon, any conflicts, you can't have anything to do with that. So anything to do with possibly even space, we won't let Elon partake in that.
Hey, how will you make sure that no one gets murdered? Pretty simple, actually. I think I'm just going to ask people not to. Maybe would be my approach. I would just say, don't, please. That's the logic. How are you going to make sure Elon isn't engaging on issues that he has conflicts of interest with? Dismantling agencies that, I don't know, have investigations open into him or his companies. I'll just say don't. No, I told him, don't do that stuff. I'm not going to do any oversight, because when you bring up an example of things that are happening, we think this could, they're already involved in agencies that directly impact and engage with Elon Musk's companies. And he says, oh, I have no effing clue what you're talking about, but don't worry because I told Elon not to. But he's doing it right now. That's the question. So clear, very clear that Trump either doesn't know about something, which is concerning, given that he's saying he's the one tasked with making sure Elon doesn't do the corrupt stuff, which is weird coming from the chief corrupt person being Trump, or he actually does know, but he uses I don't know as the justification. Before getting into some other clips, here's the New Republic reporting on the impact of yet another cut. Oops, Trump Musk cuts just wrecked an NIH org championed by GOPers. With co-presidents Donald Trump and Elon Musk now inflicting deep cuts on federal agencies that sponsor medical research, thousands of scientists, researchers, and medical professionals are getting fired. Experts are sounding dire alarms, predicting that this could set back our ability to cure deadly diseases and debilitating physical ailments and leave the nation less equipped for future public health emergencies. Musk is giddily cheering these cuts despite those fears, or perhaps because of them. But one downsizing just started attracting notice among insiders at National Institutes of Health because it seemed particularly inexplicable. According to people familiar with the situation, approximately 1/10 of all the workers have now been let go to the NIH's Center for Alzheimer's and Related Dementias, or CARD, including its incoming director, a highly regarded scientist credited with important innovations in the field. And apparently this is something that GOPers have said that they're supportive of, so a contradiction laid bare there. But again, as I said in a different segment, we have all of these people working and lobbying and advocating against the diseases. Is it really that unfair to have some people advocating for the diseases? I mean, that's just the balanced approach, is it not? It's psycho, okay? It really is. And just before getting to some clips from that interview that was referenced, here is what the defense of these actions sounds like from a couple people.
And that's why DOGE is so important. Whether he finds $500 billion, $1 trillion, or even aspirationally $2 trillion, that probably multiplies to $10 trillion in private sector activity over a 10-year period of time. Those numbers are real dollars in the pockets of the American.
As Aaron Rupar wrote about this clip, LMAO, here's Tim Scott just pulling numbers out of his rear on Fox News, which is what he totally, even the tone of his voice was, maybe he finds $1 trillion in waste that if you cut it, it wouldn't do anything in the lives of anyone, but it would just be wasteful because that's definitely laying around. And if he finds $1 trillion, then maybe he finds $2 trillion, and $2 trillion turns into $10 trillion. Next thing you know, we're going to realize every single dollar we've ever spent has been fraudulent. That's pretty cool. You know what this reminded me of? When lately I've been crafting, like a workout plan and then a diet plan that's going to go along with it. And you have this crazy wishful thinking before you've done any of the things. So you write it down. Jaden's laughing. Hey, Jaden, I'm about to get back on. Okay. Well, you craft and you're like, all right, let's see. So and you have those little apps, if I burnt this many calories per day, then I could lose this many. Well, I guess if we're doing 600 per day, let's just jack it up to burn 1,000 calories working out a day. Why not? And if I'm doing 1,000, I might as well do 2,000. If I'm doing, that's what he sounds like. If I'm doing, we'll just go ahead and skip forward and he cut 10 trillion. Can we just give him credit for that preemptively? Ridiculous, Tim. Gosh, Tim. And then another, Stephen Miller, who just the posture is so interesting. He went on CNN and got asked some basic questions, and he just started shouting.
There's no waste in HHS. Stephen, I don't think anyone...
Then why are you not celebrating these cuts? If you agree there is waste, if you agree there is abuse, if you agree there is corruption, why are you not celebrating the cuts, the reforms that are being instituted?
Why are you shouting, Stephen?
Every day that no action is taken, the entire salaries of American workers that are taxed disappear forever.
Stephen, let's calm down.
This is not...
We're not having a debate.
There's no reason
about whether there are places.
You are clearly trying to debate me, and I will be.
You are trying to debate me by saying, hey, prove the things that you're saying. You're trying to debate me by saying you haven't actually found any of the evidence of the things that I'm claiming. How dare you?
As excited as I want to be about the fact that we are saving Americans billions of dollars, that we are ending the
Oh gosh, Steven's excited, he says. Well, let's stop it there, though. I don't want to see any more excitement from Steven, and obviously he's making a lot of bold and false statements. We'll get to, in this segment, an example of how they're fabricating the savings that they're supposedly finding all over the place. But first, a very dilapidated looking Trump appeared in an interview with Elon Musk, as I've looked at some clips from. Let's check in on a couple more.
Who knows? Because he figures he does think differently. He thinks he has a better product.
Yeah.
And as long as he has a level playing field, he doesn't care what you do, which is very, he's told me that.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't asked the president for anything ever.
And if it comes up, how will you handle it?
Really, Elon? I haven't asked for anything ever from the president. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's true. I mean, I guess from the standpoint of asking anything, except for like the whole federal government. But besides that, he hasn't asked for anything, except for unilateral control that the president has. But other than that, he hasn't asked for anything. Or maybe he's saying, I haven't asked for anything, but I did buy something.
For anything ever.
And if it comes up, how will you handle it?
Well,
he won't be involved.
Yeah, I'll recuse myself if it is.
If there's a conflict, he won't be involved.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't want that, and he won't want it.
Right, and also I'm getting a sort of a daily proctology exam here. You know, it's not like I'll be getting away from something in the dead of night.
Proctology? What?
I'm going to D.C. If you want a friend, get a dog.
Well, yeah. I do have a dog.
look at Trump's face when he. Oh my gosh, what is Trump doing? Look at his face.
Right, yeah.
Welcome to D.C. If you want a friend, get a dog.
Well, yeah. I do have a dog, but I also have friends.
Yeah.
My dog loves me. Poor little creature.
You know the truth with this?
I need to bring him to D.C.
He's.
Yeah, your dog loves you in the same way that Trump loves you, which is that with both of them, you bought them. Sorry, that was cringy. Okay, here we go forward.
Okay. Why are they reacting like this?
Well, first of all, do you give it fly and rip, number one? And
well, I guess we must be over the target or doing something right. You know, if like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful, I think.
Yeah, the little children who are now starving because you cut off their food funds. Their cries mean you're doing something right, I guess.
What all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, DC voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
Good for DC.
They don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. I'm like 92%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so, but how can you, if the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented, and that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what we're seeing here is.
So this is the reason that kind of you can tell it's taken him a second to get out the words, is because he's in real time grappling with the concept of our Constitution, right? He's going, wait, is that right? That if the president doesn't get everything that he wants, if the president doesn't get everything that he wants, then it's not a democracy, right? No, so even that would be if you removed all checks and balances, and the bureaucracy has nothing to do with the things that people are calling unlawful that you're doing. It's kind of, you ignoring the fact that we're supposed to have separate branches of government that hold each other accountable. Bureaucracy, again, has nothing to do with that. The bureaucracy is just the word for the people doing the stuff that then the lawmakers legislate and that they dictate. But the roadblocks that they're running, the obstacles that they're running into is the fact that, Congress has certain powers that then Elon Musk has tried to go around. The judiciary has some powers. That's really what's at issue here. Bernie Sanders, by the way, appeared on CNN and mentioned what I'm referencing.
Elon Musk is clearly running the show, the wealthiest person in the world, who has enormous conflicts of interests, who is helping to fund right-wing extremist organizations all over the world, who is looking forward to get massive tax breaks from Congress. He's running the show.
So if he's running the show, but not on paper, as they essentially argue, but you say in practice, he basically is, you're a co-equal branch of government as a senator on Capitol Hill.
I kind of thought so, but I think you have to explain that to the president.
Do you feel that you have oversight when it comes to what Elon Musk is doing?
Look, what we're seeing right now, Caitlin, is a very dangerous moment. I'm laughing here, but it is not funny. This country is moving very rapidly under Trump into an authoritarian form of society.
Sorry, before that's so true and that is so serious, the reason I laughed is because it tickled me so much this morning watching this clip originally. And he doesn't, it's the most Bernie thing ever where he doesn't laugh, but then he starts his next sentence with, I'm laughing, but this is serious. It's like, thank you, Caitlin. I haven't had that fun in a really long time after his version of laughing was going, are we? That was it. That was the lighthearted moment. But I hear what he's saying, which is he's being tongue-in-cheek saying, are we a co-equal branch of government? Because we're not being treated like it. And that's how we venture towards authoritarianism. And so often, as I mentioned before, the folks who seek to implement authoritarian actions or undermine democratic values do it in the name of, no, we're really trying to make things ultra-democratic. But see, the whole institution, how we talk about the democratic republic, the institutions that we've set up, the framework that's been crafted by our Constitution, yes, has the democratic say of the people. That is also power divided among people's votes being represented, but split up into different branches that can hold each other accountable, different entities of power. And what is, for lack of a better phrase, pissing off Elon and Trump is the fact that that's there. They want it to be the case, as others have in the past, that after you win one election, you should then get to do whatever you want, no matter what, and every single thing was signed off by the American people. This was a funny example of Trump just... there is a clear little a path, a tunnel that goes straight from one ear to the other. And so much of what was being said through this interview was just flying through his ears and not attaching to any brain cells. Watch this.
Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons are damaged so that somebody can walk again. And so they can have full body function.
Look at it. For our podcast listeners, imagine you're 3 hours in to a fish documentary. That's the face that Trump is making.
And so they can have full body functionality restored. And
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually, yeah.
They can have full body functioning restored. You like Bobby? I like Bobby. Where's Bobby? Bobby's had a lot of affairs, like me. Bob, what? We'll move on from that. And get to, I'm kind of sick of these clips. I think you get the point on that, but quick little random story I wanted to read out to you. Axios reports that early data shows homicides dropped 16% in 2024. Hell yeah. Last year, Biden's presidency continuing to oversee a much safer America that then Trump will take credit for. Yay. Share your thoughts in the comments. If you want to support the show, you can do it by clicking that join button below. If you haven't done it yet, I don't know why. Just do it. What the heck? Live a little.